Um, so, the radical workplace, as everybody knows, is this forum that we can have, organic and casual chats about the unique approach that a lot of people may take to their business, and stepping outside the box and taking a radical idea and making it a reality and running with it. And certainly, you come from a really interesting background. When people, you are essentially a labor lawyer. That's how you've been trained, and have been obviously that for a very long time, and worked in the corporate world as well as in the private sector. Which is, that kind of well-rounded experience is amazing. But the radical part of this that I was interested in is that although there's a ton of kind of employment lawyers and employment litigators out there, there is not a whole lot of them that are so closely associated with an actual human resources organization. In my experience, you hire a labor lawyer, and they will address it specifically, the specific task, the specific case, all of those things. Where you have a really unique and radical approach to this is that your focus is kind of, and you can certainly correct me on this, is the legislative act, the legislative part of this is even secondary to meeting the demands of the human resources part of this. So maybe you can take us back to the beginning. And is this something that you had in your mind right from the beginning when you became a lawyer? Is that you wanted to actually work within HR rather than just the legal aspect of labor, or is this something that came as you started?
Yeah, it's a great question. And what happened, Shale, is from when I was about 15, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. I knew that was my path. My parents didn't push me. It was something I just felt connected in many different ways. But once I finished articling at a personal injury and employment firm, and I was in court all the time, doing motions, doing statement of claims, statement of defenses, I realized after that year, as great as a traditional career in law might be, it didn't leverage my strengths. It didn't speak to me in terms of my personality. And I knew, and I'm really proud of this because we're going back now to about 1995, so about 26 years ago. And I knew at that time that I needed to kind of combine my legal training and experience, which wasn't much at the time, with people. And I sourced out, the human resource programs at the time, and ended up going back and doing my master's in human resources. And that summer, and this is a really interesting story, that summer, I was sitting in the Labatt's Brewery office on the one that used to be near the airport in Toronto, now closed. I was sitting with the VP of Labor Relations, who did the same program that I did at Queen's. And I told him, I'm really interested in getting into human resources, labor relations. It was one phone call to the head of the beer store. And the next thing I knew, I was involved. I was shadowing one of my mentors for the whole summer at the beer store. Still one of the best jobs I've ever had. And I knew it spoke to me. I knew that this was the career I needed to go into, which was kind of combining legal, which would be a huge advantage as an HR person, with human resources, which is, because I love people so much, I knew I had to do that in my career.